If you've been trying to lose weight, but you notice that you're losing, but your body still isn't looking the way you want it to look. It's not toning up in the right areas. Your waistline not getting defined. Your arms, you're not seeing the definition of your arms and then your legs. In this video, I'm gonna break down the most common mistakes that I see a lot of people making when they're trying to tone up and get that shape that they want. That way they look good in their clothes, their suits, and when they take the clothes off. Okay, these are things I teach my coaching clients on how to like completely just transform their body. And I've had hundreds at this point coaching clients who are like, I love the way I look now. Okay, and so if you're looking in the bathroom mirror, you're putting on clothes and you're not happy with what you're seeing, this is a video you're gonna watch from start to finish. Okay, and so here's the thing: weight loss is one thing, right? Like a lot of people, they focus on doing the whether it be Ozempic, and to each his own, guys. If you go do it, you go do it. Weight loss surgeries, the Ozempics, the weight loss detox diets, and we typically see these people lose a lot of weight, but these people, they don't look like toned and tightened. They look kind of like sick, weak, frail, and a lot of people become a little bit concerned about like what happened to this person, what's going on with them. And this happens because they're just focused on weight loss. And in some circumstances, people are like, they're doing a ton of cardio. Like I get tons of people who reach out to me on Instagram and Facebook. They're like, man, I need to tone up. Man, I need to get some definition. And I'm like, okay, what have you been doing up to this point? They're like, man, I dropped 80 pounds already. I dropped 50 pounds. And I'm like, okay, well, what did you do? They're like, man, I just been walking. I've been eating better and I just been walking. I'm like, well, if you're just eating better and walking, that's just weight loss. If you're just focused on weight loss, yes, you can lose weight, but you're not going to be happy with what you see in the bathroom mirror. You're not going to be happy with how your clothes fit. A lot of people, they lose weight and they try to like hide, themselves. They try to hide behind like baggy clothes, or they cover up their arms, they cover up their legs, things like that. And so there's a couple of things you want to do differently. The first thing is this: you have to build a healthy relationship with food. You have to. This is what I typically see most people doing. Most people say, well, I'm just going to cut out sodas. I'm going to cut out sugar. I'm going to cut out my pastas. I'm going to cut out alcohol. And this is just focused around like depriving yourself. This is restriction. This doesn't mean you know exactly what steps to do to like enjoy the process of weight loss and like being able to really more so like drop body fat, not just weight loss. Because it's a difference. Weight loss, you lose the weight, but you're not happy with what you see. Fat loss is you drop the body fat, but you keep that muscle. Because if you want to tone, they call it muscle tone. A lot of people don't think about it. But if you don't have muscle, you won't have anything that's going to be toned on you. You're just going to be slim or skinny. Okay. And so, a couple of things you want to do instead that I teach my clients: you have to build a healthy relationship with food. A lot of people, they're focused on like cutting out, these pastries and these cakes and things like that, or they say, hey, I'm going to stop eating out, and that's cool and all. But truthfully, what you want to be looking at is, what are the calorie dense foods that I'm eating, and what are the nutrient dense foods that I need to eat. Let me give you an example. Calorie dense food: chips. Calorie dense food: bagels. Nutrients dense foods: sweet potatoes. Nutrients dense foods: you can eat salmon or eggs. These foods are dense with nutrients. You're going to get proteins, omega 3s, healthy fats. Certain types of fruits and vegetables are going to have, a high amount of fiber, which for those of you who may have type 2 diabetes, you need to be eating more fiber. You need to be eating less of these processed foods that are dense with calories and low in nutrients. This is how a lot of people end up having the type 2 diabetes, the big stomach, the muffin top. If you don't want to have these things, you have to eat in a way where you're not just focused on weight loss, but you're focused on fat loss. Okay. And so that's the first thing. Switch from calorie dense foods to nutrients dense foods. Calorie dense food, what do you call it? Almond butter, peanut butter. A lot of people love them some peanut butter. I used to love eating Reese's Cups, y'all. I used to love them. And then I started understanding I got to look at the labels. And I was like, oh my God, I'm eating a big cup Reese's cup, and this sucker got hundreds of calories in it. I had no idea. And so a lot of people are, oh, it's just one little, Reese's cup, oh, it's just 1 or 2 scoops of peanut butter. Them calories add up super fast. This is why I teach my coaching clients on how to track what they're eating. If you are not tracking, you are slacking. Because you could be eating healthy foods that are dense in calories, low in nutrients, like peanut butter. I had a coaching client of mine who was having a hard time losing weight. She would just put peanut butter in her smoothie. I'm like, that ain't on a meal plan. Why you doing that? That's why you're not losing weight. You could easily eat an extra 400, 500, 600 calories just from the peanut butter or the almond butter. Somebody says, I'm skinny fat. What should I do? Bulk up, then cut, or lose that fat first? Keep listening to what I'm talking about. That's actually a really good question. I'm gonna get through this right here, and more than likely you should understand it better. All right, where you are a little bit better, and then I'll touch on that a little bit more after I get through the value. Okay, but that's a really good question. Um, so nutrient dense foods, not calorie dense food, guys. Okay. Somebody else says, I can't get rid of the mix section. Keep listening, keep paying attention. And I'll cover these questions that y'all have towards the end as well. I'll give y'all some recommendations. And so I just don't want to break up the value too much. The second thing, you have to make dates with the weights. That's my fancy way of saying if all you're doing is cardio and you're not lifting, that's a problem. That's a big problem. Because if you're just doing cardio, like I said earlier, with the people who be hitting me up on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and they're like, man, I lost the weight, but I'm not happy with how I'm looking. Man, I lost it, but it's not toned how I want it to be. Like, what I do wrong, you know? And I tell them, listen, you have to focus on lifting to build muscle. You can't build muscle from doing cardio. You can't build muscle from just eating better and cutting back on calories. It's very important that you are focused on lifting weights 3 to 4 days a week. It's not going to make you bulky. What makes a person bulky is if they are lifting weights, but they have a junk food diet. They don't know exactly what foods they need to be eating. They're overeating. In a lot of cases, they're overeating. Like they're eating healthy foods, they're working out, and they're like, oh my God, why am I bulking up like this? But it's because they're overeating on healthy food, or they're just completely eating junk food and not even like paying attention to it. And so you have to lift weights though, because that's what's going to tone you and tighten you. All right. If you want to have definition, guys, you want to have a nice, firm, muscular chest. You want to have nice shoulders. You want to look strong. You want to look proportioned. Ladies, you want to be able to have a flat, tight waistline. You don't want to have the back wing arms. You got to lift. If all you're doing is just cardio and working out and maybe using some little bitty 5 pound dumbbells at the house, that is not going to do it. You got to go to the gym. Or unless you have a full at home gym. I'm talking about bench press or maybe a Smith machine. Like some of my coaching clients have Smith machines. Like if you don't have the money to get like a full at home gym, you wasting your time. You got to go to the gym. It's going to take you so much longer. You're going to find yourself feeling bored because you're doing the same thing, because there's only so many exercises that you can do at home to work your legs, to work your arms, to work your core. Like you're just going to get bored. And doing these like jumping jack and high hit workouts at the house with just body weight, some folks who are 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight can't do that stuff. Like I know if I was 50 pounds overweight, nah, bro, I ain't doing jumping jacks. Yeah, nah. I got too much weight on me, big guy. I got too much weight on me. Maybe when I drop some weight, I'll start doing some jumping jacks. Maybe when I drop some weight, I'll start doing a little bit more burpees. But right now, I'm a little too heavy. So I'm gonna go to the gym, and so I can get on a treadmill or the Stairmaster or something. And when I go to the gym, I could do lat pull downs because I may not be strong enough. I might be too heavy to do a pull up. And so you go to the gym to do a lat pull down or the row machine. You see? And so guys gotta stop taking the cheap route out. People who take the cheap route out, they get cheap results, which is typically roller coaster results. They don't get the results they want. All right. And so start focusing on lifting. Cardio burns calories, lifting tones you up. It tones and tightens you up. Number 3, you have to have structure. Everybody who I see who wings it, who just does like random things, they're just all on social media, all on YouTube, just like trying to piece it and Frankenstein it together, they waste a lot of time. They waste a lot of money because time is money. And because when they could be working, when they could be doing things in their career, they're trying to Frankenstein and put it together when they're in the gym or when they're in the kitchen. It's just like, it just makes a mess. It's like trying to bake a cake. If you're trying to bake a cake, you got the ingredients, but you're not using the recipe. It could end up being a mess. And most times it does. Okay? And so you gotta have the recipe, which is structure. Okay? You gotta know exactly what exercise to do. Exactly what exercises are gonna tighten your arms, tighten your chest, tighten your legs, get your core on point, get your back tightened. Okay? Same thing with your nutrition. You got to not just be eating healthy, but how much? Do you know your calorie intake? Do you know your protein intake? Do you know your fiber intake? Do you know how much water you're drinking? The people who don't know these things, they are just like, it's a pipe dream. They want to get toned and tightened, but it's a pipe dream because they're guessing. Versus the people who are high achievers who are really out here getting results, they're not guessing. They're no better than you. They just like, I ain't got time to be wasting. Let me get me a plan so I know exactly what I need to be doing so I can utilize my time because I value my time. So I don't want to be winging it, not knowing if what I'm doing is right or wrong. Okay? So have that structure. Structure leads to consistent results. That way you're dropping, you're leaning out, and you notice that your arms, your legs, your chest, everything's just starting to tighten and tone all at the same time. But when you don't have that structure, it leads to inconsistency. The weight go down some weeks, then it go back up. You start seeing a little definition, then it go away. You bloated. You see? And so super important. Um, I see we had a couple of questions. Let me see if I can answer these questions real quick. So Asmit says, I'm skinny fat. What should I do to bulk up? What should I do? Do I bulk up then cut or lose fat first? You can do both simultaneously. It doesn't have to be either or. A lot of people think what do they say? A lot of people typically be like, well, maybe I just need to lose weight first and then start hitting the weights. No, do all of it together. And so once you get to your goal weight, you've already got the look too. Because if you just lose the weight and get to the weight that you want to be at, you might not even be happy with how it look. Versus losing the weight and lifting too. That way, as you're leaning out, you see the definition as you're leaning out. And you might not even have to drop as much weight as you thought you were going to have to drop. Because sometimes people start losing weight and they're not lifting and they be looking skinny fat and sick. Versus lose body fat, build muscle at the same time from lifting. And now they're like, whoa, you know what? I like where I'm at right now. I don't think I need to go down as much as I thought I did. You see what I'm saying? So super important. Um, Something else to consider is knowing where you are. This is why another reason I say structure is important because it's like having a GPS. If you don't have a GPS trying to get to a whole nother city, you're trying to drive to another city, what can happen is you find yourself turned down the wrong road. It's going to take longer. You waste a lot of time. You might not ever get there if you're trying to drive to another city without the GPS. But when you have that GPS, you know where you're going, but you also know where you're starting from. So you know how much further you need to go. And so that's what structure is. Some of y'all, some people, some women are like, yeah, I'm 5'3", 5'4", I'm 220. And I just want to drop about 20 pounds and then tone up. I'm like, you're 5'4", 5'3", you're gonna be 200 pounds. you need to drop another 40 or 50 pounds to even start seeing some tone and definition. Same thing with guys. 5'8", 5'9", 5'10". They talking about their 280, 290, 270. Yeah, I just want to drop about 20 or 30 pounds, then start toning. There ain't gonna be nothing to tone. Your body fat's still too high. And so you won't be able to see the muscle because your body fat is still covering it up. And so you're gonna have to drop more. This is why having a plan is important, because you find yourself climbing up a ladder, you get to the top of that building, and you're like, this ain't the kind of view I thought I was gonna see. This is, I got now you got to climb back down the ladder. You didn't waste the time. And then you climb up another one. You're like, oh, I'm not there yet. Let me climb down, climb back up another ladder. That's what a lot of people do. And so instead, this is why structure is like having a GPS. You know exactly where you are, and you know where you're going, and you start having a better perspective on how long it's going to take to get there. Like I've had one of my coaching clients named Ann. She was like 270 or 80 pounds, and now she's down 110 pounds. And now she like literally loves the way she looks. And she's getting ready to do a little bit of skin removal surgery on the waistline area. Everything else looks pretty good. And it's just like some people, they have been overweight their whole life, and they're like, okay, well, let me just drop 50. Imagine if she would have just said, yeah, all I think I need to do is just drop 50. And then she just tried to start toning, start trying to lift weights and just tone. And she's like, oh my God, I'm bulking up. It's like, no, you didn't bulk up. You just hadn't lost enough weight yet to see the definition. And so this is why it's important to have that perspective. Also have some structure so you know exactly where you are, how far you need to go. You know you got to dial in your nutrition, like I shared. You know you got to start eating properly and lifting weights. And there's also nothing wrong with doing cardio. I want to make that known too. Like cardio it has its place. Very overrated for weight loss, believe that or not. But cardio can help you have more energy. I have a lot of coaching clients who tell me they sleep way better from doing cardio. A lot of clients tell me, their blood sugar is more regulated. Like when they go back to the doctor, like one of my clients recently, I think it was about a week ago, because I don't just help. A lot of people always ask me, well, what makes you different from other coaches? I don't just focus on weight loss. I focus on lifestyle and those deeper health concerns. And so I have a lot of coaching clients who have high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes. Some of the guys even have erectile dysfunction. Some of them had sleep apnea, things like that. And so, you know, when you start moving more, you start to avoid the health concerns that can come about from living a very sedentary life. And so if you're like, man, I'm always so mentally exhausted. I'm always so, tired, man. I want to get to the gym and work out after I get done working, but I just don't have the energy. You have a nutrition and movement issue. If you start moving more, not even like lifting weights just for the tone, but if you start walking 15, 20 minutes, you're going to have more energy. This way, you have the energy to be motivated to want to hit the gym. Okay. But I can make a whole nother video on that. Good questions though. Let's see. Let me see. I can't get rid of the midsection. Yeah, you got to dial in your nutrition, man. Something's off. If you have a belly fat issue, you have a nutrition issue. Okay. Like if you just eat properly, like the way I just shared, nutrient dense foods and not calorie dense food, you'll slim down. Okay. Your waistline will slim down. You might not be toned and tight, but if you just dial in your nutrition, your stomach will get flat. But then when you throw in the nutrition, the lifting and doing the cardio, that's how you tighten and tone all at the same time. But other than that, guys, I am out of here. All right. If y'all would like some help from me, you want some structure, you're tired of, feeling like you're wasting time with trial and error and spinning your wheels, I'll drop a link down in the description below. That way y'all can learn more about coaching with me, one-on-one coaching. All right. We out. Peace.